How have you been? I am great. 今天晚了，你是登点吗？It's a bit of late. I was trying to set up to see whether I could put on a virtual background so that this live streaming can look nicer. However, I wasn't able to do it. But somehow it looks like really fake. It took me quite a while to try to find how to solve it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to solve it. So I guess we're just gonna stick with this normal background, I guess. Oh, okay. Hello, hi. My audio is not working. Is it working now? My friend, is the audio working now? Is the audio working now, my friend? Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, that's fantastic. So I was saying that the reason why I was late today this morning was because I was trying to think of like how to set up a virtual background because you guys don't you find this background to be a bit boring? Well, like setting up a virtual background, like I could put on some titles onto it so that you guys could see it more clearly. What is the topic today, and also like what are the things we can discuss today, things like that. Unfortunately, it's a bit of hard. It's a bit hard to sort it out. So wait, where is it? Ah, I know. Okay, how are you guys, my friend? How are you guys? Can you tell me how are you? Every day morning taking a lot of extra time to set things up. I really need to learn it to speed it up so that every morning we don't need to. Good morning, good morning. We're doing fine. Good to hear from all of you guys. Yeah, where is it? I'm pretty good. I'm sorry I missed you yesterday during a different time. Don't worry at all. Don't worry at all. Yeah. Oh, let me see. Okay, still not so familiar with all the devices in here. Why is it asking me to download? Oh my god. Anyhow, let's just do this. Okay. Yeah. I'll try to figure out after I finish live today. Yeah. Good morning for you, but good evening for me. Yeah. Good to see everyone of you guys in here. So okay. Anyhow, still haven't wasn't able to figure out everything. Somehow let's start it. Gonna not gonna waste any more time on this. I'm gonna figure out after the live today. Yeah. So to be honest, like every at the very beginning when I first started the live, it was all pure out of interest, right? I told you guys multiple times that it's because of the January, the TikTok ban, many people flooded to Red Note, and somehow all people all around the world, people all around the world, all of a sudden become so interested in China. And this year we started to see so many like foreign KOLs coming to China and broadcasting their trip, their exploration, their experience in China. And for example, recently it's the most famous Speed coming to China, right? So for me as well, even though I didn't go to other countries, like likewise, like they came to China, I didn't go to another country. Somehow it was also a very interesting experience for me, like to see and visit so many people from around the globe right inside the channel, and we have this pretty free kind of talk and communication, right? I have my Reno app ready to go. That is fantastic, my friend. Beast is coming too, really? Oh, Beast is also coming too. Beast is like the most famous kind of the KOL in the world, so he is coming too. Oh my god, that is like great. Because I am so glad we're literally having everyone coming over to China and just showing the real China, the unfiltered China to the rest of the world. And that is amazing, my friend. That is definitely amazing. Hi, my friend. Hi, Jaden from New Jersey. Yeah, that is absolutely amazing. Yeah, so also like one interesting thing is that okay, although the reason why I started this live is pure out of interest, pure out of the interest that I want to communicate with people from around the world, somehow when I started doing it and every day I'm having so many new followers and every day like people coming to my live streaming and saying that hey, I really like your live stream and I really want to hear more about you, more about your country. And also, there are even people sending me separate messages every day, like telling me how much they like about my live stream. And also, people asking about, like, hey, could you also, have a replay of it? Because I probably won't be able to catch the entire part of your live stream every morning, things like that. Hello, friend from Minneapolis, where, yes, we're getting snow today. And keep warm, my friend. Keep warm, loving me more. Yeah. So there are people asking me, are you currently working? Are you still a student? The question really makes me happy because it's been so many years since I graduated from university. So the fact that you say that you really think that I am a student, oh my God, that is like the best flatter that a woman wants to hear. To compliment in a very subtle, indirect way that you think she is young. Yeah. And also back to what I am trying to say. I was trying to say that okay, ever since I started doing it, because of all of you guys, right? So that is why like I keep on doing it. And every at this very same time, I always want to make this live streaming to be even better every day. So that is why like right now I no longer use like multiple phones. I try to use like one laptop so that I could do live streaming to both platforms or like other platforms as well, right? So you don't find me to be staring at this and that, like from switching from time to time that I'll only need to stare at one screen. And that is like how you're able to see me, right? So this is the first, uplift of the quality of the live stream. Somehow I still haven't been able to sort everything out. However, like definitely a lot better than before. So the next thing I was trying to do from yesterday was like whether I could just change this background because this is a pretty plain background, right? However, I tried to use the what is the green cloth, right, to take myself out so that I could add a virtual background and took me quite a while to figure out yesterday and took me quite a while to figure out this morning. However, still wasn't able to solve it. The biggest problem was about the light. So I guess like the reason why people could have those like seamless change of virtual background is because they are in those very professional live streaming studio when the light is very even so that is you're able to just take yourself out and add a very beautiful virtual background behind it. Somehow it's like pretty hard to do it in at home for someone who's not like professional live streamer. So anyhow, let's just do it today. But I think like this background is not like too bad, right? It looks like pretty clean and pretty pretty nice, I guess. Yeah. You look amazing in red. Thank you, my friend. And this is like something like everyone loves, right? Snoopy. Yeah. Thank you so much, my friend, for coming to my live streaming. Yeah. And yes. So hi Nitrix, I'm blocked on Red Note again. Why? Why? What did you do? G Chef, what did you do? How come you got blocked again? How do you speak English so well? Yeah, so constantly there are people amazed at seeing someone who's Chinese, but at the same time who are able to speak very good English. However, just so you know, there are plenty of people somehow in China, people like me who get really good education, who are able to speak very good English. I had this discussion with a friend who is also a English content creator, whose username is called Ashu. You guys could check her page out. She's a pretty interesting content creator as well. So we had this like very interesting discussion about like why we all know there's so many people in China who can speak very good English. And somehow why since January this year, like when people started, many people in China started doing this live streaming in English, why somehow there are so few of us who are able to do it in, you know, very few of us who can speak English very well and start to do live streaming. Like you don't tend to see a lot of people who can speak very fluent English. and who are doing live streaming. So we had a very thorough discussion on the topic of that, right? So like people coming to my live streaming and asking like, "Hey, are you a propagandist?" A lot, right? Because it is so rare to see someone who is Chinese who are able to speak very good English and who can, just share thoughts in very fluent English about China, about everywhere around the globe. Somehow, however, in our daily life, we do see plenty of Chinese people, people who are like us, who are able to speak very fluent English, to express themselves, and have no problems of understanding English at all, right? So somehow we discovered that it's just a overall impression about becoming an influencer and about having live streaming. People's kind of stereotype and concept, especially for those like very well educated people, the kind of concept of doing live streaming, become an influencer and starting the live streaming and show the face and to talk to people around the globe is still considered to be something quite embarrassing. This is a kind of conclusion we come up. To be honest, like I also was, to be honest, like feeling a bit of awkward before what we call it 偶像包袱. I also had that kind of thing before that, okay, should I do this or should I not do this, right? But eventually abandoned all that and just kept this courage and started doing it. And the moment I started doing it, I really like it, right? Love you, sisters. Love you too, Mike. Yeah. Hi, Riley from Australia. We love China. We love Australia too, my friend. Yeah. Mhm. Is English a compulsory course in high school there? The problem is that, well, the key is that it's not a problem, okay, my friend. English is a compulsory course not only in high school. English is a compulsory course since primary school. I started learning English at the age of 10 in third grade. It was not because I wanted to learn English, just because it's a compulsory course, right? My parents wouldn't think of sending me to study English if it is not compulsory, right? Back then, in their generation, for example, my mom, she studied Russian because back then China has a pretty close relationship with Russia. So that is why back then, in her age, she studied Russian. So did my dad, I think. So we started learning English starting from a certain point in history, and all of a sudden, everywhere in the education system, China, every student in China needs to study English. Of course, that also links to the country's grand strategy, right? For example, we wanted to start to build the economy, and like it was China's plan, like one day we will have to enter WTO back then, right? And also, like I think back then we also applied for something called IPAC, right? The IPAC conference, we wanted to hold IPAC conference. Then how can people come in and we still have zero English speaking talents, right? So that is why back then, from a certain point in history, all of a sudden China has started to implement this English education. And everywhere in China, no matter it's in like Shanghai and Beijing and the cities, starting from primary school, English become a compulsory lessons. The problem back then was that even though English has become a compulsory lesson, a compulsory course, still we don't have enough English speaking talents. We don't have enough English speaking teachers. I remember back then, the kind of English teacher we had in primary school, according to the standard today, was pretty bad at English. I remember. It was like 还好是英文，估计俄语就一句都听不懂了，不会说俄语，不会说俄语。Yeah. So it was like very interesting that so people like back then when I started learning English in primary school, judging from the standard today, the English teacher teaching the English back then was, to be honest, pretty bad at English. Shanghai, relatively speaking, is better. However, compared to Shanghai, for other cities who are less developed when it comes to education resources, you would have like even worse English teacher. However, the fact that the important thing is not about whether you're having so many people, so many good English teacher who are able to teach English. It's about sending the signal to the entire nation that nowadays, from now on, English has become a very important course for everyone to learn. Like, okay, the country wants more people who are able to speak English. So right from that moment, all of a sudden, people start to pay a lot of attention to English study. And also, I have discussed about the college entrance examination, right? The college entrance examination, the English has also become one of the very important subject inside the college entrance examination. So the fact that how people are able to get into university depends on how high they're able to score in the college entrance examination, which is 高考, right? Is a great way. It is a great way to, well, how to say, manage how the country wants people to study. What are the areas they want the people to focus, right? I also shared with you guys before that I started playing the piano since the age of 5, and I was able to reach like grade 10, which is highest grade when it comes to piano examinations. And the reason why I started playing the piano, first of all, was because I made a wish at my 5th birthday that I wanted to play the piano. However, the most important reason was back then, not only I was playing the piano, many like elder children, like many of my elder cousins inside the family, were playing the piano. And why all of them wanted to play the piano? It was because back then, when we were little, for the Chinese um, college university entrance examination in Shanghai 的高考, had this kind of rules that if you are able to reach grade 10 when it comes to piano examination, you'll be able to get extra 10 scores. It was a great method to tell people what is the thing that the country want you people to have. So like back then, for example, people only focus on things like, for example, they don't focus too much back then in my parents' generation. People don't focus too much on education, to be very honest, right? If you ask your parents back then, well, it was when they were little, it was not like people didn't never realize that, oh, okay, going to a university is a great thing, get higher education is a great thing. People wouldn't even think of like maybe I should also pick up an instrument and I should have other part of the life, right? It was like people were pretty just living everyday life and just okay, gonna eat what for breakfast, eat what for dinner. People don't have this mindset that okay, I do need to get myself educated, and also people don't think very deeply about many things in life. Nowadays, also thanks to social media, people start to think a lot of things. For example, what's the purpose of the life? Oh, okay, I want to study psychology so that I could understand how to manage the marriage relationship a lot better. Okay, I need to make myself educated so that I could educate my kids better. You know, start to think of all of those things. However, if you look at my parents' generation and the generation of my grandparents' generation, they never thought about that. Okay, it was all about okay, every day what do I eat? Every day, okay, I need to wash the clothes. Oh, the kids, as long as you guys are not naughty, that is fine, right? It was back then, was the pretty much the the pretty much the kind of mindset they had back then. So it was really thanks to those college exam entrance examination. Okay, people start to realize, okay, if I ever want to live a better life, I need to get into a great university. And because I get into a great university, I get very well educated. Am I able to get a good job in China and then earn a higher salary? And then I'm able to buy whatever I want to buy and live the quality of life. So that's the whole circulation become. So then from starting from certain point when college entrance examination was back to normal. So there was a period of time in Chinese history where nobody was able to go to university because somehow like the college entrance examination was abandoned. You guys probably know, probably don't know. 有一段时间中国的高考曾经是取消的嘛 and I think it was starting from which year? I think is it 1976 or 70 something? Like from one certain year started China restarted the university entrance examination. So there was a lot of stories about back then when China first introduced the college entrance examination. To be honest, people were pretty much not educated for so many years, right? All of a sudden, you had the college entrance examination. There are lots of like very interesting story back then. For example, some stories were around okay, some people came in to attend in the examination. Like for example, it's like attending the SAT, right? The SAT in US, and college entrance examination nowadays is like very sacred, very high standard. Like you have to go through a security in order to make sure you're not taking on anything cheating any like cheating papers, cheating whatever to go into. And throughout entire examination, there will be like a lot of devices controlling. Okay, people are here, everything is normal, right? This is considered to be a very sacred day. However, back then, when college entrance examination was first introduced, it was so funny that, for example, there was a lady who just got a newborn baby, and she was even asking, "Hey, okay, it's in the middle of the examination," and she's like, "Oh, okay, can I go out and feed my baby? I only need half an hour to feed my baby, and then I can come back to take my college examination." That is like very interesting, right, my friend? Right? It's like you're taking SAT, it's SATs, right? And all of a sudden in the middle, you're asking, like, hey, can I go out and feed my baby and come back? Right? It was like that. And also, people, how are people able to answer all the papers? You would notice that, okay, basically the quality of the scores that people were able to reach were pretty low. Right? For example, back then, for those who are able to get into the university, probably wouldn't be even able to get to the worst school nowadays in China, because overall speaking, back then, you know, China's just resumed the examination, the university entrance examination, right? So people were not so good at attending the exams. Like, okay, so somehow like we restarted, right? So when we restarted the university entrance examination, it would becomes like all of a sudden the country also realized that was a great tool to educate people, right? What are the things you want our next generation to have? They just put that thing into the university entrance examination. For example, I told you guys when I was little in Shanghai, they say that, okay, if your kids are able to reach grade 10 of piano lesson, then you're able to get extra 10 scores when it comes to university entrance examination. So what did all the parents do back then? All the parents started to send their kids to learn the piano. So literally you see like so many families in China and Shanghai. I'm not sure about other provinces, but back then in Shanghai, so many kids of my generation started playing the piano. I did too. Also for me, it was also my fifth birthday that I wanted to play the piano because I saw so many cousins in the family. They started playing the piano. The reason why all the cousins inside the family started playing the piano was just because back then in Shanghai, the college entrance examination had this extra 10 score for those who are able to reach grade 10, the highest grade with your of piano examination. And it was interesting that right after I reached 10th grade of piano examination, somehow they abandoned this policy. So there was no more policy of extra 10 scores because so many people started playing the piano and so many students were able to reach grade 10 in piano lessons. So somehow they said, okay, no more of that. No more any extra 10 scores for grade 10 piano. Otherwise, like everyone basically just get 10 extra score. However, because of that, because of the policy, so many people like me got interest in music, right? Into classical music. And we're just not like those people in the past that doesn't know anything about those kind of like very classical things like music, right? Art, right? We start to build a taste. We start to become people with taste. For example, taste in music, taste in art, right? Just because of the college entrance examination. This is a great policy, right? So if you look at later, we were discussing about English, right? So from the moment, I'm not sure it's from day one or from certain period, university entrance examination also has English in it. So you have to score very high scores in English examination in order to get into the top universities in China. So as a result, what would I like the way you're making correct points here. Thank you. 能用中文分享一下博主的英文经验吗？等一下好吗？等我把这一段讲完，我来跟你分享一下好吗？ Yeah. So okay, so I was like saying, okay, so when we introduce English become one of the most important subjects in university entrance examination, what happened next? What happened next, my friend? What happened next? Okay, people everywhere started to pay very strong attention, great attention to study English, right? And also all the parents would start to just push the kids to spend a lot of time studying English because they also want their kids to get into the best university in China. and later on get great jobs and earn a great living, right? So somehow English has become so important in China. So all the students literally everywhere started learning English officially from third grade, which is around 10 years old. For cities like Shanghai, where the competition is even more fierce, many parents would send their kids to study English at a younger age. I know like there are even richer families who would hire foreigners to be stay-at-home English teacher so that once their children was born, they were born into a very good English speaking environment. So I remember there is a very famous celebrity, an actress in China, and her husband is also a very famous singer. So the young couple, well, they're no longer young anymore somehow. Okay. So they said that they hired just an English speaking foreigner to stay at home with them for 7 years for free. And they provide meals for him. I'm not sure if they give him salary. It's just because they want this person to be at home so that their son can be exposed to a very good English speaking environment. So there's always a foreigner at home. They could talk to this foreigner, speak English with this foreigner. So right now in China, there are a lot of people who are able to speak very good English. Of course, especially for the city of Shanghai. I remember going to a talk show before, right? I went to a talk show before, and there was one guy who was performing in the talk show, and he said that he was joking, like, okay, back then in university, I majored in English. He said that he makes it like a joke. He's like, okay, I majored in English because it was like so useless because literally everyone in Shanghai are able to speak English. Well, having said that, I disagree, okay? First of all, in my opinion, I disagree that majoring in English is useless, okay? That is my opinion. I'm just sharing the story that he's just joking around. Okay, I quote this example just to tell you guys that many people in Shanghai are able to speak very good English, okay? And the reason behind that, in summary, was because of the university entrance examination, and we have put English as the most important, one of the most important subjects inside English examinations. So, also, I thought at the very beginning that many people in China can speak English. I thought like English is like very widely learned, very widely spoken in around the country because I definitely see a lot of people in Shanghai who are able to speak very good English, who are able to understand English. And as a matter of fact, when I talk to my friends, people have this habit that no matter what sentence we say, it's always like a mix of Chinese and English, and sometimes even Shanghainese and English. There is a very famous KOL in China called Papi Jiang. I'm pretty sure like every single Chinese people know her because she's so famous. She's such a famous KOL in China. And how she was able to go viral at the very beginning was she made posts of videos of her speaking Mandarin, Shanghainese, and English seamlessly. It was like she just pretending like herself was like a bitch, an office bitch, like just calling a friend, like gossiping about one another bitch inside the office and using like Shanghainese and Mandarin and English at the same time. And her video went so viral, and that was how she became very popular back then, right? So to be honest, like was pretty just like that. She was not just acting. There are a lot of people in Shanghai that when we talk, especially for those office ladies, office men, when they talk, they're just like that, like mix of English, Mandarin, and Shanghainese all together. So to be honest, at the very beginning, I had this impression, like literally everywhere in China. 这两天有点感冒了。So I had this impression like people around the China, everywhere in China, were able to speak very good English or at least understand English very well. However, later when I really returned back to Shanghai and started working in here and started to meet people from other areas in China, and then I discovered, oh, it's actually not true. Maybe it's just because of Shanghai who had put really good emphasis on English education. Because I've seen like people in many other provinces, like they came from other provinces, even though they have very good, like strong emphasis on English. Like you have to also have to score really high in English in order to get a very high school score in your university entrance examination in order to attend a very good school. However, people were not able to speak very good English. And then I later realized it was because we have a lot of great English speaking teacher resources in Shanghai compared to other provinces in China. Okay. So, for example, I heard that in many other cities in China, right? So the English teacher themselves were not able to speak very fluent English. How come they could teach the students like how to speak English? So what we call in China, there are many Chinese people. Then they later realized there are many Chinese people in China. What we call the silent English, 哑巴英语, right? You can read, you can probably understand. However, you are not able to speak. Many people in China, they may be able to understand, however, they're not able to speak. The reason why, because they don't know like how to speak the right English, because they were not taught to speak very well right English back then when they in school. So many people in China, they probably would be able to, attend English tests and reach very high school scores in examinations. Unfortunately, they were not able to really speak it. Yeah, and 英文老师都说方言的，right? So there was like one friend here saying that, sharing that, okay, back then when he or she was learning English, the English teacher were teaching English using local dialect, right? Yeah, 说的太对了哈. Yeah, right. My friend has been doing that for 20 years. He's Canadian, teaching in Shanghai. Yeah. So, for example, back then when I was little, when I was in my senior high school, our school was able to hire an American teacher to be our English teacher. I'm pretty sure things like that probably could only happen in first year city like Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen, right? You wouldn't see some other cities who are able to hire an English speaker to be their English teacher, right? I still remember back then was a very beautiful lady around 26 years old with red hair, like red blonde, mix of red and blonde hair. Her name was called Christine, and everyone in our class really love her, like love her so much, and she's also very kind to me, and I like her so much. I invited her back to my home and asked my mom to cook like traditional Chinese dishes for her. Even though I was speaking very broken English, still I was like talking to her because I really like her. And I still remember, because back then I wasn't able to speak very good English, right? I invited one of my aunt. My aunt was able to speak quite good English, invited her to come to my home so that this dinner was not so much like very awkward conversation. It was like really good conversation. I could just also participate in some of that, right? So overall speaking, back then in Shanghai, the kind of English speaking learning environment was better than other provinces. We are exposed to more English learning resources. Like, for example, I mentioned that we were able to have like English teacher, English teacher, American English teacher, right? Back then when I was little. However, for other cities, for foreigners, they didn't even know what are the other cities apart from Shanghai or Beijing, right? Back then, China was not so famous. Like people didn't know what's the capital of China, right? Do you guys know the capital of China? Can you guys let me know if you know the capital of China, my friend? Yeah. So that is why like a lot of people 每天几点开播啊？早上7点半到9点半，然后晚上9点会有重播，好吗？Okay. So back then, probably many Chinese back then when I was in my senior high school, or even when like many years earlier, probably people didn't even know for foreigners didn't even know what the other cities in China apart from Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, probably don't know. How come they could go to other cities if they don't even know the cities, right? So relatively speaking, just because of that, Shanghai, Beijing, okay, I asked about what's the capital of China. There are people saying Beijing, there are people saying Shanghai, there are people saying Hong Kong. Yeah, Beijing is the capital, my friend. You could, for American friends, you could consider Beijing to be like Washington, D.C., and you could consider Shanghai to be like New York or Los Angeles, San Francisco, that's kind of a thing. Yeah, so Hong Kong, Taipei, and Shanghai, these cities are not capital, okay? Beijing is the capital, my friend. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, very bad connection today. The connection is bad, my friend. I'm sorry for that. I'm gonna try to fix it later. Yeah. So if the connection is bad, I'm sorry for that, my friend. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. After the live streaming, I will try to figure out like how I will be able to solve this connection problem. Yeah. Sorry for that, Hedja. Sorry for that. Yeah. And guys, follow me, please. Okay, follow me, please. You haven't done so. Follow me, please. It's all right. It's good where I am from. Okay, great. That's fantastic. Follow me, please, guys. Follow me and keep on tapping the screen to sending likes. Okay, keep on tapping the screen to sending likes, and also join my team if you haven't done so. Okay, join my team if you haven't done so. 加一下粉丝团，如果还没有这么做的好吗？Follow me, please. Okay, guys. Follow me, please. Follow me, please. Tap on the screen to sending likes. Okay. Okay, back to the topic. So there were also people sharing that. Okay, I was saying that. Okay, the point I was trying to say was that back then, people didn't even know the cities apart from except Beijing, Shanghai. How could they would ever want to go to those cities that they were not aware of, right? How could people would want to go to cities in Yunnan, in Guizhou, and Sichuan if they didn't even know those kind of cities exist, right? So comparatively, Shanghai, Beijing, those become cities. Those become the cities that have better English education resources. So even though our English teacher were not able to speak very good English, for example, some people said that I agree. Also, when I was little in my primary school, I would consider my senior high school teacher to be quite good at English, and junior high school not so okay, primary school even worse. So for my when I was little, the English teacher also was teaching English using a very strong local dialect accent, right? For example, I remember there was a teacher when she's teaching PQQ, right? Q, the pronunciation she had is like her, rather than Q. So they didn't even know how to say everything correctly. How could they really teach the students how to speak English correctly, right? However, compared to other provinces, they could only learn English in such a way, just as what their teacher taught them, right? Okay, the right way to say Q is actually cur. The right way to say, um, for example, S is ice, right? And also, for example, how to say stop. In Northeast China, they say it is stop, right? There were many very interesting things like that, where people didn't know what's the right way of speaking English. So compared to other provinces, one great advantage like Shanghai people have is that many schools back then started to have this trend of hiring English speaking teacher to teach the local students here. So even though our teacher also taught us like how to say Q as cur, how to say stop as stop, when we see like really those English speaking teacher, or those English teacher or American English teacher, they taught us the right way of speaking everything, right? So that is why eventually we were able to learn English and was able to speak English relatively better compared to people in other provinces. So whenever I see like friends coming from other provinces to Shanghai started to work in here, they would also say, "Oh my God, you speak very good English. How did you learn English?" I also learned very good English. I'm pretty sure they also learned very good English. If they didn't learn very good English, there's no way they were able to get into really top school in China, because you really have to score really high. Because English, if you look at the entire composition, if you look at the composition of the entire university entrance examination, English is actually the subject with the highest scores. So if you are not able to reach really high in English, there's no way you will be able to attend the best university in China. So I'm pretty sure for those people who said, my friends who said to me that, oh, you speak very good English, I'm pretty sure they studied English very hard back in school and they were able to reach very high score when it comes to English examinations. It was literally because of that, back then there were not many good English resources. They were not able to learn English the way as people in Shanghai were able to learn it, right? So that is why they learned the silent English rather than people like us, like were able to really speak it, really communicate with foreigners. So that is why I later told those friends that, okay, it's really important that you need to really speak up. Well, I even encouraged them that, okay, you should just go out and just talk to people, to just try to pursue a degree outside of China, no matter it's America, it's Britain, it's Australia, New Zealand. Just go abroad, attend a semester of exchange program, or just go out, just to stay there for a while. And that is why when you're exposed yourself 100% to an English speaking environment, then there's no way you're going to be able to speak Chinese, right? You just have to push yourself to speak English. And that is how you are able to pick up English and just speak it very well, right? Yeah, so let's see. Let me see. There are like a lot of comments in here. So I was like, but do you speak Spanish? Bienvenido, mi amigo. Gracias. Gracias for coming to my live streaming, amigo. Little bit. Didn't study Spanish back then when I was little. I studied German for around 2 months. I share with you guys, like somehow in my family, we really like German, like the German screenity somehow. So that's why my parents wanted me to learn German. I learned it for 2 months, but later wasn't able to continue. Yeah. I can attend the best uni in China with only English. Yes, you can, my friend. You can attend the best university in China with only English. There are, for example, in my back then in my university, I attended Shanghai Jiaotong University, which is definitely one of the top universities in China. So inside Shanghai Jiaotong universities, there are majors that is like 100% English teaching. Okay, I remember there is a major like where there's a school, there is a college inside the university called Michigan something college. So basically what they did is that, okay, so all the courses were taught in English in that college in Shanghai Jiaotong University. And you could also have like two paths to choose. The first path is like you could spend 2 years in Shanghai Jiaotong University and the rest of 2 years in University of Michigan, or you could spend the entire 4 years in Shanghai. So there are also other universities who offer entire like English course. So as a foreigners, you could come in China and attend the top university, even though you can only speak English. So there are courses like that. Do they still speak Portuguese in Macau? In some areas, yes. In some areas, yes. However, for majority of the people in Macau, they speak Cantonese. I think they speak Cantonese. Yeah. Mhm. 还必须勾引不想学中文的老外来中国，对你有什么好处？我无法理解。yeah. So there is a Chinese friend asked this question. I think this is a great question. So we can discuss around that. He said he couldn't understand why I want to attract all those foreigners to come to China, even though they don't want to study Chinese. And he's asking, like, what good does that do to me personally? What do you guys think of it? What do you guys think of what? Well, if you are to answer this question, how are you able? How do you want to answer his question? I want to see other people's opinion. So I'm going to repeat this question again. Like, hey, he's asking, like, why do you want to ask all those foreigners to come to China, even though they don't want to learn Chinese? What good does that do to you? What do you think, my friend? What do you think? 你们怎么觉得？有一个朋友说，你还必须勾引不想学中文的老外来中国，这对你有什么好处？我无法理解。What do you guys think? Okay, let me ask this first question. Do you travel to other country, my friend? Do you travel abroad? Do you travel to other country? 你有去过国外吗？ Do you really have to learn another country's language in order to go to another country? So I think the best way, if you can't really understand one thing, the best way is to stand in other people's shoes, right? To wear other people's shoes and start to study, to start to think from other people's angle. Then you will understand many things, right? For example, I have been to so many countries around the globe. I have shared with you guys before. 哦，没有生气哈，我只是在非常认真的分享我的一个观点，非常认真的跟大家探讨这个问题，没有生气，谢谢你的提醒。So I was just saying that, okay, so for me, I was like, I traveled to many countries in the world. I've been to countries in Africa, I've been to countries in Europe, I've been to countries in America, and literally the Middle East, literally everywhere around the globe. right? Do I need to learn the language of all the countries in order to go there? Or should I also say that, okay, for other countries, they should not welcome any Chinese who are not interested in learning their language to go to their country, right? You wouldn't say that. Okay, so say for example, if I am a Chinese, I go to another country and the other country don't welcome me to visit their country simply just because I have no intention to study their language, that is unfair, right? You wouldn't consider that to be polite. So, likewise, even though many foreigners have no interest in learning Mandarin, they want to come to China to see what is going on in China. They want to understand a bit about Chinese culture. Chinese is really hard to learn. I don't want to learn Chinese. However, still, I want to see how China is like. I want to taste Chinese food. What is wrong with that, my friend? What is wrong with that? I see nothing wrong with that, right? So, the thing is that the more people who are able to come to China and witness so many things with their own eyes, they would start to build a better impression about China. And eventually, that is going to do good to our country, to our people, right, my friends? You agree? So when you ask me, okay, so why do you want to ask those foreigners who have no intention of learning Chinese to come to China? What good does that do to you? My friend, my suggestion is think broader. Don't just look at your own 一亩三分地, right? Have to really think broader. Okay, probably those are not the kind of goodness you could see immediately. Okay, having so many foreigners coming in. Okay, what might be the good to me personally? Think broader, my friends. Think broader, my friends. When we have more foreigners really coming to China, I can list 10 different good things that would happen as a result of that. First of all, definitely, when more foreigners come to China, this is going to boost our traveling industry, right? Provide more job opportunities for people who work in the travel industry, and that is going to boost our economy, right? This is the first biggest strength, like good, what you call a good thing that will bring to China, right? And second thing is we have more foreigners, like people like KLs, like Beast, like Speed. They're coming to China and doing live streaming, showing people around the world how China is like. Just look at what Speed is doing, right? In his live streaming, you see literally all the comments people leave there is all the positive comments about China. Oh, I didn't realize that Chinese people are so polite. Oh, I didn't realize, okay, China has such great internet connection. Oh, I didn't realize that China is so clean. All those great things about China is because foreigners come to China and then we start to build a great impression of China on on people around the world, right? So people around the world start to have a great impression of China just because of that, right? Yeah. 小罗飞说：“普通百姓挣钱多难，老外如果来中国了，这不就是提供了一个更多的市场吗？” Right? So, and yes, I agree with you 100%, Mark. Seeing is believing. There are lots of, just so you guys don't know, like, there are lots of great, like, really bad propaganda about China. I only realized that when I started doing live streaming and really able to talk to people across the screen with literally from everywhere. And I realized, oh my God, there are so many misunderstandings about China in other countries. And somehow, like in many other countries, they depict China as a country that is so evil, so bad, so poor, so not literate, and so lagging behind, something like that. That is so not true, right? So if you have like more people come into China, probably later on, after they see everything, they have witnessed everything, seen everything with their own eyes, they started to grow strong interest in China. And then that is how they started to think about learning Chinese, right? So that is not about like, okay, so they have no interest in China, then we shouldn't welcome them to come to China. Maybe we should welcome them to come to China. They see everything. And afterwards, then they would grow the interest in learning Chinese, right, my friends? It was very interesting, like when so many foreigners flooded to Red Note in January because of the TikTok ban, my friends, right? Back then in January, what happened to TikTok was like later on, so many people flooded to Red Note. What's the result? Duolingo becomes such a popular app. So many people started to download Duolingo because they wanted to what? They wanted to learn Chinese. So these people, they haven't even, those foreign friends, they haven't even come to China, really visited China. They only visit China through our social media platform. Through Red Note, they started already growing the strong, very interested. interest in Red Note, not to mention if they really come to China to see everything, right, my friend? So this is my answer to your question. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna read the comments. I was just sharing. I was not reading the comments. I'm gonna read the comments to see what other people thinking. Okay, yeah. Speed show that China is a way more efficiently ranked country than the U.S. This is what you guys feel, right? My American friends. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I see like so many people there on Red Note are agreeing with me, right? Yeah. So even though like that is not considered to be a very friendly comment, I have repeatedly saying that I welcome all sorts of comments as long as those are not scams. Okay, I usually find like people coming and sending unfriendly comment as long as it is a great discussion topic, because we can't say like everyone in this world would think in the same way, right? It's because of different mindset, different way of thinking, different background, the diversity that makes the world very fascinating. So definitely from time to time there will be people come into my live streaming, sending comments that not so friendly. I would consider the reason why they sending very friendly, unfriendly comments, not because they are trying to attack me or trying to be unfriendly. It's just because they hold a very different opinion and they articulate it in such a way that makes me feel like they're not so friendly. So in that sense, whenever I see comments like that, I would just tell myself, okay, just treat it as an unbiased comment. And then we can discuss around that. Yeah. So for example, back then I had lots of argument with my mom because my mom was raised in a very traditional Chinese kind of environment, not so much like education, right? So unlike her, and she's never been educated abroad, never been to a lot of countries. Well, of course, like later on brought her to a lot of countries. So compared to her, like I consider myself to be better educated and have seen the world, and definitely the things that I think would be different from the things she thinks, right? So it's very important that we still, even though we have different opinions, that we would discuss many things politely, friendly, and come to finally able to reach consensus. If we're not able to reach consensus, that is still fine, right? There's a say in Chinese, 求同存异, right? We agree on things we agree, and it's okay that we could still accept each other even though there are things we don't agree with each other, right? Yeah. You're mature, polite, and well spoken. Thank you, my friend. Yeah. Have you been abroad? Yes, my friend. Yes, I have been abroad to many countries. Yeah. Smart glasses with instant translation will be huge. Oh, yeah, we have that in China. I've seen like people selling that, those glasses with instant translation. Do you guys know that? So, China has made lots of like very interesting invention. Okay. For example, one of the inventions some people see on social media is by wearing the glasses. And on the screen of the glasses, what you see, for example, you're just talking to me, right? And you're speaking English and I'm speaking Chinese. And whatever you speak to me, I would see on the glasses the translation of your English into Chinese directly. So I could later return the glasses to you after wearing those glasses. Even though I'm speaking Chinese, you will see the instant translation of my Mandarin into English directly on the screen of your glasses. That is like one glasses we have in here in China. Like a lot of those like very cool invention in China. Yeah. 翻译软件经常出问题，翻译不标准。Okay, there's a friend, Momo said that probably he has used this instant translation glasses and he said the translation is not so accurate. From time to time, it makes wrong translation. Even though it makes wrong translation, I think that is a problem that can be solved later. The fact that we already have those kind of instant translation. I also hear we have like instant translation um 耳机 earphones, right? 好像讯飞有一个耳机啊 like by putting on the earphones, no matter what the other person are saying, it's gonna instantly translate into your language. Earbuds, yeah, earbuds, right? So all these are like very cool technology that is currently happening in China. Well, you could argue that okay, maybe the translation inside the earbuds or the glasses can be not so accurate. However, if you are looking at all those different translation systems, right, DeepSeek, ChatGPT, Google Translate, they're translating everything so correctly. So if the problem only lies with translation, then it must be a problem that can be solved very easily, very quickly, right? So the fact that people come up with those ideas of developing those instant translation earbuds or like glasses itself is amazing. There's a huge market. So one great thing about China is no matter what you invent, there's always a huge market out there. Chinese people, as I said, mentioned multiple times before, are very open-minded when it comes to new technology, those like little interesting new gadgets. Like we really like to try those kind of things, right? So if we use them, so as long as you're able to invent, come up with great ideas and make it into a product, pretty sure there are people out there, there are target customers who are willing to just take out their wallets and buy the inventions you make. Yeah, I think the US and China should form an alliance. They have good tech. Exactly. Both countries has great technology. However, we're not forming an alliance. We're treating each other as competitors. So, yeah, but that's considered to be a relatively sensitive topic, so not going to elaborate on that. Yeah. China doesn't like us visiting. Why do you think so, Winston Wills? Winston Willis, right? Why do you think China doesn't like you visiting? If China doesn't like foreigners to visit, why does it why did it start implement a new policy since December last year that is going to provide visa-free visits for people from 54 countries including US, UK, majority of the countries in the Europe and also South America like Chile, like Mexico, like Brazil, right? China definitely right now wants more people to come visit the country because of what? Because we want you guys to see everything with your own eyes. We want you guys to come in, boost our traveling industry, right? So that is why since December last year, China introduced this new policy allowing foreigners to stay in mainland China for 240 hours, which is 10 days, as long as you're citizens from 54 countries if you're traveling in here using transit visa. Okay, my friend. So it's definitely not right. It's definitely wrong to say that China doesn't want you guys visiting. We definitely want you guys to visit. Okay. Yeah. Are Chinese schools teaching Spanish as mandatory subject? No, we don't teach Spanish. However, there is a huge population of people in China learning Spanish. I myself have multiple friends learning Spanish. However, it's more like an interest. It's not like a compulsory subject. Yeah, my friend. Yeah. Most Americans are too poor to travel to China. Mm, really? Yeah. Mhm. Being the alliance of US is fatal, really. My dream is actually live in China. Yeah, ever since like so many foreigners flooded to Red Note, somehow there are so many people saying that okay, I really want to move to China. I really want to live in China. That is funny. I consider living in China to be quite comfortable because many things are so efficient in China. Yeah, guys, follow me please, okay? Follow me please. Follow me please. Tap on the screen to send in likes, okay? Follow me please. Yeah. Have you followed me, my friend? Have you followed me? Yeah. When you have a transit visa, do not do connecting flight out of China. My friend learned it hard. What do you mean by do not do connecting flight out of China? Sorry, don't quite understand that. Yeah. Yeah, guys, follow me, please, okay? Have you guys follow me? Follow me, please, okay? Follow me and keep on tapping the screen to send in likes, okay? Keep on tapping the screen to send in likes. Let's reach 10,000 likes, okay? My friend, follow me, please. Have you followed me? Follow me, please, okay? Yeah, 谢谢. Thank you. Is it Mama Musa for sending this like yellow tickets? Yeah, it would be great if you could also help send the yellow tickets. 今天没涂口红，忘了涂口红了，涂个口红。Yeah. Mhm. Thank you so much for those of you who are sending likes in my live stream. Yeah. I once saw a video that said Macau is a European city built in China. Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that Macau was the colony of Portu, Portuguese. Yeah, Portuguese colony back then. It was returned to China in the year of 1999. So you would still see a lot of the architectures in Macau that looks like the architecture of European architectures, a lot in there. Yeah. So also like same likewise in Shanghai. If you come to Shanghai, you will see there are lots of architectures, especially in the Bundin area, that looks like other countries' architecture. 万国群嘛，这个建筑 yeah, it was because of historical reasons. Yeah. Mhm. What is your like heart girl goal for when tapping the screen? What number do you want to reach? Cameron, will you help me reach the goal? Yeah. So I want for each of my life, I want to have the overall speaking total likes of 30,000. If I'm able to reach 30,000 likes, that would be great for 2 hour lives. Yeah, somehow it's not easy to get. Yeah, so it would be great if you guys could help me reach that, okay? And guys, follow me, please, okay? Hmm. A billion like go. Thank you, Didi, for that. That is very, very aggressive. Yeah, yeah. Okay, people ask, what is my occupation, right? Just so you know, so I am an entrepreneur myself. I've said it many times in my live streaming. I am an entrepreneur myself and I run several startups myself. So all like AI related. So, for example, the current startup project I'm running is in the startup which is a startup project about cross border e-commerce and using AI technology. Yeah, so that is basically what I am doing right now. Yeah. Oh, Shanghai has beautiful buildings too. Shanghai, I wouldn't call it old Shanghai, new Shanghai, because Shanghai, I think right now, well, if you guys haven't visited Shanghai, I strongly recommend you guys to visit Shanghai. Okay, Shanghai is a city with how to say it. It's a city with taste. I think it's a city with taste. It's not like the city I've seen in other places. For example, if you go to some places, you would say like, "Oh, I think this city looks very much like the other city," right? However, when it comes to Shanghai, I think Shanghai doesn't really look like any other city. So, in part of the Shanghai, it really has in some of the roads, those very famous roads in Shanghai, it does have its very unique feeling, the kind of feeling you don't get in elsewhere. It's a feeling of how to say it, like it's a feeling of Chinese. However, it's like a very foreign kind of Chinese. I'm sure you guys can get it. It's like a great combination of Chinese and Western kind of things. Like very interesting. Like, I cannot really say it. It's like it's kind of feeling you can only get it when you come to Shanghai to see everything with your own eyes. It's not about the culture, it's about the architecture. Okay, so some of the roads, some for example, 什么巨鹿路啊, Fuminglu ah, for those kind of roads, when you walk on the road on the streets of Shanghai, the kind of feeling you get is like it's very very different. I don't get to see the kind of feelings elsewhere. It's like a feeling of the combination of both Chinese. You can apparently feel it's very Chinese. However, at the same time, it's also so foreign. Yeah, you're so inspiring. Thank you for these lives. That would be great. 每天听主播得了吧，帮你复习。That's so funny of you guys. Yeah. I wish I could visit Shanghai, but my schedule just doesn't allow for it. Are you planning to travel to China, my friends? It's just that you're not planning to visit Shanghai. That is fine, my friend. China is such a big country, definitely worth visiting many times. So maybe this time you could come to visit this area, and next time come to visit other areas, right? I've been to US for multiple times. Still, there are so many places in the US that I haven't visited. So I'm pretty sure that I will go there again, right? For example, Australia also, big country. I visited it twice or three times. Every time it's gone to a very different place, right? So definitely, yeah. 发音很好，内容也很正能量. Yeah, that is why you guys need to follow me, okay? Have you guys follow me, my friends? Have you guys follow me? If you haven't followed me, please follow me, okay? Follow me. Yeah. To be honest, today I am a bit sick. Yeah, somehow you guys know that for those of you guys who are in my live streaming for long, you guys know that I went on a pretty hectic business trip over the last half of week. Every time I had like two intense kind of trip schedule, like I start to be a bit sick. So to be honest, not feeling very comfortable today. Yeah, but trying my very best to be still very energetic and share with you guys. Yeah. What area in America do you want to visit? Well, definitely those natural scenery, my friend. I've been to Yosemite National Park. Absolutely amazing. Was able to see four different seasons just in one day. Definitely. So also there are Yellowstone National Park. There are many national parks in America. I definitely would love to visit. I'm a huge fan, huge fan of natural scenery. So these are the places I want to visit. Yeah. What would you say is a Chinese city that mixes modern with green landscape? What do you mean by with green landscape? Like natural scenery, right? So I think like if you could visit Guizhou, Guilin, Guangxi province. Inside Guangxi province, they have like Guilin. So those are a lot like also cities, but like with beautiful sceneries. Yeah. So there are many things like that. You have intrusive earrings. Yeah, you like it? Thank you, my friends. Yeah, I really like all sorts of earrings and necklaces, bracelets, kind of things. Yeah, gonna definitely share those kind of stuff with you guys. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. 留过学吗? Yeah, 留过学. Yes, I study abroad. Yeah, so for those of you who were asking, yes, I studied abroad before. And then I studied in the US and studied in the UK before. So I studied my master degree in the UK and studied an exchange program in the US. So combination of two. Yeah. You want to visit France? I can be your guide there. If you come, that would be terrific, my friend. I've been to Paris. I've been to Paris. However, I really want to visit south part of France. For example, Nice. You know, I think like the southern part of France is considered to be like nicer, more like definitely chiller, like definitely more fun to visit. Yeah. Yeah, Cost Mountains in Guilin and Yangshuo. Yeah, these are like beautiful sceneries that people definitely need to visit. Yeah. Oh, you're actually from the south of France. That is fantastic. 真的勤奋，感觉播一夜。其实晚上的是回放，默默每天我就播2小时，播太久身体吃不消，身体吃不消。But thank you so much for all the supporters coming into my live streaming. Yeah. Mhm. So many people say that you like the sweater, which is Snoopy sweaters, right? I guess I will just have to wear it a lot more so that you guys like it. Yeah. When I took the high train in Paris to Nice, I saw a lot of Chinese. Yeah. Chinese people really like to travel around the world. There are a lot of Chinese people traveling around the world, definitely, especially for Shanghainese. I noticed that no matter which travel group I go, it's always like Shanghainese in there. Yeah, Chinese people really like going, abroad, you know. 哎呀，谢谢你们这个这么照顾我，坚持不下去可以隔天，没问题。我看一下，能坚持就尽量坚持吧。Marseille is like the second biggest cities in France, which is 1 hour from Nice. That is fantastic. Yeah, that is fantastic. I will definitely make sure that one day I will visit Europe. There are so many countries and so many places in the Europe that I definitely need to visit. Right? Last year, June, well, is it June last year or the year before last year? I went to Europe. So I visited, what's the first step? What's the first stop? Well, definitely Spain. Barcelona was my first time visiting Barcelona and Madrid. I'm definitely a huge fan of Barcelona. Austria, right? Vienna, Salzburg, and also what? Also like Switzerland, Geneva, Zurich, right? Those kind of countries, those kind of places, right? So it was definitely I really wanted to visit South. So there are countries in Europe that I really want to visit, right? For example, southern part of Italy, southern part of France, right? And also Iceland, really want to visit. Sweden, Denmark, definitely want to visit. Russia, even though I've only been to Vostok. However, my friends who've been to wait, what's the capital of Russia? All of a sudden, I can't. 俄罗斯的首都是什么？ What's the oh my god, what's the capital of Russia? All of a sudden I couldn't think of what's the capital of Russia? What's the capital of Russia? Oh my god, all of Moscow. Yeah, Moscow. Yes, right. Moscow, Pittsburgh, St. Pittsburgh. Right. These are all the places I want to visit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All of a sudden, 脑子短路了 all of a sudden, yeah. Ever since COVID, I've become so bad at memory. All of a sudden, there are like from time to time, all of a sudden, just couldn't think of the word that I want to say. All of a sudden, I couldn't think of something that I want to say. Do you guys suffer from the same thing? 我希望这些讨论能为中美后代创造一个合作的环境。Oh, Jamie, that is so nice of you to say that. Jamie said that I hope these discussions we are having in here could create a very cooperative environment for our offsprings from the US and China. I really like it. I think it's very beautifully said. Yeah. 我还以为是李梦在这儿直播。哦，不同人说我长得像不同的人哈。It's very interesting that our people come in here and said I look like different kind of actresses and live streaming. Yeah, saying like I look like Limu. You're the first one. So there are a lot of people said that I look like Nini, and there are also people said I look like some other celebrities in China. Yeah, yeah, somehow, yeah. I have that too, but not because of a corona. That is so funny of you, but yeah. Uh huh. Your earrings look like weapons. It's not weapons. It's a heart. It's a shape of heart. Can you guys tell? It's a shape of heart. It's not like a weapon. It's a shape of heart. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful view in Europe. Yeah. Let's see. What are the topics we could discuss, guys? Can you guys raise some topics you're interested in, and then I'm gonna discuss that. Definitely need you guys to suggest some topics. I feel like we are some running out of some topics to discuss. Yeah, can you guys suggest what are the good questions? What are the topics you want to discuss, and we can discuss it? Yeah，粉丝团满了，好的，没问题，小马过河，我到时候再开一个新的。Yeah，到时候再开新的。Yeah, it was so interesting that yesterday I because I used a whole new device system to do live streaming, and yesterday there was use a new camera, and somehow it provided filter that made my face look a lot sharper. Even though I would think like, oh, I actually look prettier, but that doesn't look like me, right? So today I look like more like myself, right, my friend? So I look like more like myself, the usual me compared to yesterday. For friends who were in here yesterday, yeah, I turned back to the normal camera, rather than making my face smaller, chin sharper, eyes bigger, right? Yeah, so like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Which one is the greenest city in China? Mm. Yeah, that's a great topic. I could share a lot about uh, mm. greenest city in China. To be honest, I think I don't have the right answer to that. Okay, honestly, I don't know which is the greenest city in China. However, you started a very good topic about introducing what are the green policies we have here in China, right? I could definitely share a bit of that. So I remember, is it last year or 2 years ago, right? I told you guys that I went to, you know, went to Europe and attend one of my friends' wedding, and I was able to meet so many Europeans back then in the wedding in Austria. And the minute we started to discuss about all those environmentally friendly measures they had in their own countries, and I noticed that okay, those like Western European countries, many of them have like fantastic green policies. For example, for the plastic, whatever you eat, whatever you drink, the plastic containers, like for example the plastic how to say the plastic water bottle can be recycled. You could just go to any 7-Eleven convenience store and sell the water bottles to the convenience stores. So I was like, oh, that is like really good. So you actually removed all those like rubbish from flow into the natural from the nature, right? Because you provide monetization motivation to people. Like people can actually earn money by recycling all those water bottles, those plastic stuff, and then give it to those convenience stores. So it's like a very easy thing to do, and then at the very same time a very easy way to earn money. And I consider it to be like a very very good measure because I don't see that in China. And also I wouldn't consider it's I also like back then I was thinking like, okay, yeah, so well, I wouldn't consider it to be possible to, for example, for the random convenience store to like purchase the used empty plastic bottles from people. They would definitely cause lots of social problems if we really implement the same rules. However, it seriously thought that was a great idea. So later, when I came back to China, what did I see? What I saw is okay, we start to have similar things, however, in a very different way. So in Shanghai, literally in every neighborhood, you will see there's a huge, how do you say, huge box. Well, it's not a box, it's more like a little 一个小的一个迷你仓啊，mini how do you say 迷你仓怎么说？迷你仓怎么说？How do you say 迷你仓啊？有没有中国的朋友来帮我一下？How do you say 迷你仓啊？嗯 Years ago, grocery store used to cash in glass bottles. So Diana, in the U.S., right? Grocery store in the U.S. used to cash in glass bottles, but what happened now? No longer mini capsule. Yeah, yeah, great. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, so we have those kind of mini bean. Yes, large bean, recycling bean. Yeah, like very big recycling bean. Yeah, thank you for you guys. Very big recycling beans. So what you could do, you could actually just scan the QR code. There's like a screen. You could scan the QR code and then tap on the screen and say that, okay, I want to open the bin and then I'm going to put my stuff into the bin. And it will automatically weigh how much is the waste you put inside it, recyclables into it. And then it will automatically transfer the weight into how much money you will be able to earn to your account. We have that. It's like very amazing. I consider that to be an even better way than like going to a like grocery store and cashing everything. It was like even more convenient, right? I don't need to find a convenience store, and also convenience store I also need to think about ways to store all those kind of things, right? So in Shanghai, we see like so many of those like mini capsules, mini like big recycling bins, like huge recycling bins, and like it's not open, like but once you scan the QR code, it's open, and you could put all the stuff into the recyclables into it. And once it's done, just tap on the screen, say, okay, I'm done, and the door will be closed automatically, and it will weigh the recyclables I put inside the recycle bin, and then money will be transferred to my account. That is also technology. That is also technology. So amazing. So I do have it in my phone. Let me see. Okay, it's not on this phone. It's on the other phone. So like these are like all very interesting things happening in China, and I realized okay. So even though we're not doing it in the European way, we are actually doing it even more advanced than those European ways, and I'm very proud of that. Yes. So China has those kind of, so just so you know, we China has this big environment problems before. So also I think we have this kind of carbon emission targets that we need to meet, right? China has to reach zero carbon emission by the year of 2060. I think I'm right on the number. So 2060s, that is only that is only 30 years away, my friend, right? If you look at the carbon emission we're having right now, that is like a long way to go from now to like zero carbon emission, and that is not hard. That is definitely hard to reach. That is definitely not easy to reach like zero carbon emission by 2060. So because of that goal of like zero carbon emissions, so China has to implement so many different measures in order to make sure that we lower the carbon emission. So that is also another reason why, like in China, you have like so many EV cars. Like the country is really promoting people to start to buy and use EV cars because that would lower carbon emission, right? And also, people are here are also encouraged to, for example, to use a lot of stuff that is friendly to the environment as well compared to before, all because of the zero carbon emission. So I think like right now, when I was little in our in our primary school, senior high school, we were also educated that we need to, you know, show our respect to the nature. We should protect the nature and we should not waste the environment, many things like that. We were also discuss about like global warming issues, like okay, as an offspring of human beings, we continue to do everything like today. What would happen to the earth eventually? So we got lots of education like that as well when we were little, and I think the education of that still continues today. So, for example, right now, I would also be, pay a lot of attention of, what are the things I can do to help lower carbon emission. So these are also like very interesting about China. Like we also pay lots of attention. We'll actually put lots of emphasis on those type of education as well. Yeah. And guys, follow me, please. Yeah. Electric cars, electric bus, electric bikes are everywhere. That is definitely true, my friend. That is definitely true. Yeah. Is China still a cash economy or are they now all digital? All digital money, my friend. All digital. Okay. All digital. So you probably don't know, like in China, like everything is literally all digital. Even though you go to those relatively more rural area, it is also like very digital. Wait, what happened to my live streaming? Hmm? Yeah. So yeah, guys, follow me, please. Okay, guys, follow me, please. If you haven't done so, guys, follow me, please. Okay, have you done so? Follow me, please. Yeah, yeah. Is my live streaming on TikTok still on, my friend? Oh, okay, it's on. Yeah, it's on. Yeah. Okay. So I was saying that. Yeah. Hi, Khalid. Welcome. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you, my friends. Yeah, great. So we don't use physical cards, and we don't use physical card, and we don't use wallets. You use cash. So we just basically use just phone to pay everything, right? Use phone to pay everything. Like no matter where you go, there are just no matter what vendor it is, they use just a QR code to scan. You scan the QR code, or you show your own QR code. And that is how you're able to pay everything. It's like so digital, everything everywhere here. And people would even ask, like, hey, if I come to China, if I bring cash, can I use cash? Well, for sure, you're able to use cash. It's just that potentially that if you're paying not paying the right amount, then people probably don't have enough change for you because people are so used to pay everything like very digitalized. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like so convenient. So for example, whenever I go to other countries, for example, when I travel to Europe, I have to bring a purse with lots of cash in it, lots of coins in it. It's like so not convenient. I'm so used to pay everything in cashless way. Yeah, but also thanks to Apple Pay, a lot of the places also accept Apple Pay. However, Apple Pay is not so convenient as the kind of digital payment system here in China, I think. Because from time to time, there are places that I want to use my Apple Pay. Somehow I couldn't use it. I still have to take out my card and tap on the machine to pay it. It's like not so convenient. So China is like 100% very digitalized. And it's so digitalized in a way that it's not only about payment, it's about literally everything, right? We were discuss about like EV cars, EV bus, EV bikes, right? How are you able to use all of that? You're able to use all of that using digital method. Like by scan the QR code, that's how you're able to use a bike. How are you able to jump onto a electric bus and ride the bus, right? Like everything like very, very, very like yeah. So there's a friend called Momo said, yes, our money is in the cloud. It is true. And if you look at the savings of many Chinese people, part of the savings is in the bank, and part of the savings are in all those like wallet as well, right? Alipay wallet, Alipay, WeChat Pay wallet, all sorts of those kind of things. Yeah. So we pay everything very digitalized in a very digital way here in China. I couldn't even think of anything that we couldn't pay, but we don't do it in a very digital way. So right now people don't go to bank. Like everything you used to have to go to bank to solve, like literally almost like 90% of the issues can be solved by using the mobile app. Transfer money, send money abroad, like receiving money, or like, like literally everything can be done by electrically. Or if you want to buy something, you could just order someone, order someone to buy the stuff for you. You could just ask someone to go to the store to buy it and bring it to your home as long as you're willing to pay. So that is like all the things that's going on in here in China. How do you do to pay with your hand? Yeah, you saw my video, right? I posted this video like how I'm able to pay using my palm, right? So it was like the convenience stores, right? You could use your face to pay, like just by scanning your face and it's paid. You could also scan your palm and it's paid. My friend, it's not because we have done any operations and insert a chip inside the hand. It's basically, first of all, I just scan my palm and set it up. And later on, wherever I go, I scan my palm again. I'm gonna pay it. I don't even need to bring out my phone. For example, if my phone is stolen, I could still buy stuff because I can pay, right? Yeah. There are people who say that I don't like this, I don't like that. Well, you just have to embrace the new technology. Right? You just have to embrace new technology. Back then, I was sharing that when bike was first invented, people also say that I don't like that. However, eventually that's going to be our life, right? As long as it's convenient. As when some people start to use it, more people start to use it. And the more people start to use it, you want to use it too. And eventually you discover that, okay, it is actually good. It's actually more convenient. It's actually okay. Yeah. Since when do we have face recognition? I don't remember exactly when. However, face recognition is so widely used. For example, for many of the office buildings, it's face recognition to get in, right? And also, if you go to the customs in airport and train station, also face recognition, right? You don't need a human being to check your ID when you get onto the train, especially for the high speed train, high speed rail. Because every day there are so many people getting onto the high speed rail. If you have everything, everyone is like human being face recognition, it's going to take a lot of time. So in airport, still lots of like human beings check your ID, check your face, right? When it comes to high speed rail in China, there's no like human being kind of people like check your ID in person. Everything is like face recognition. They just tap on the there's a machine, right, to tap on your ID card and do a face recognition. It will automatically match your ID with your face, and that's how you're able to get into the car, get into the train, and off you go. And it's like super convenient. Yeah, and tap to pay exactly for Yoni. Yes, tap to pay is also like very easy. So I know, like for example, tap to pay. Apple Pay also has tap to pay. So like here in China, we also have tap to pay. That is like very easy to understand. Maybe, yeah, my friend. And guys, follow me please if you haven't done so. Okay, friends, follow me please. If you guys follow me please. Okay, yeah. Is putting sugar on tea considered offensive? No, it's not considered offensive. Like you could definitely put sugar in tea. So if you were drinking traditional Chinese tea, like using Chinese leaves and pouring boiled water into it and drink the tea, wouldn't put sugar. However, nowadays in China, you see so many, bubble tea shop. They would add sugar into the tea together with some other things, right? Fruits, etc., to make a very fusion style of tea, bubble tea. So people do put sugar into it to make it more tasty, so it's not considered as offensive. However, if you're drinking like traditional Chinese tea with a traditional Chinese man and you're putting sugar inside the tea, then that is considered to be weird. Still, it's not considered offensive. It's just considered to be weird. Okay. Yeah. And guys, follow me, please. Yeah. Mhm. You don't have criminals stealing your money. We do. However, somehow I think the internet control system, the cybersecurity, is pretty strong, I think, in China. So I don't see like I don't worry a lot about like my wallet being stolen by some cyber thieves because lots of those apps were developed by the largest tech companies in China, the biggest tech companies in China. So they have like very strong cyber security system in it. So, generally speaking, is considered to be quite safe. Yeah. And the car also anti-theft. Yeah, car has anti-theft system in it. However, it's not like overall speaking, I have to say that China is pretty safe. Yeah, pretty safe. If you drive a car and park a car and you leave all your stuff in the car, that is perfectly fine. You don't worry someone would just break your car and just come in to take everything inside your car away. Because I know, like in San Francisco and Los Angeles, people told me that you're not supposed to leave anything in your car. You have to bring everything when you get off the car because there are people literally would just smash your car just to take away the phone inside the car. It was like pretty it was like, oh my God, really? Yeah, because back then when I was traveling in San Francisco on the last day to the airport, we dropped by a restaurant and I was thinking of leaving my luggage on the car and just went to the restaurant. My friend said, no, 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 you're gonna take your suitcase together with you, and that's how we are gonna go to the restaurant and eat. I was like, what? Really? Why? They would say like, oh, there's like a huge safety issue. And here, yeah, I feel sorry about that. I feel sorry about that. Yeah, because here such thing like that would not happen in China. It's definitely fine to leave everything in a car. Yeah, people wouldn't smash it. Yeah. Nitrous, happy day to you. Nice to see you again. Nice to see you too, my friend. Nice to see you too. Yeah. Yeah. So learned a lot about China, right? That's great. You're learning a lot about China. I'm glad you're learning a lot about China. Weird question, but I have to ask, is China becoming less communist? Yeah, I have actually shared that a lot before. So if you look at the society structure of China, so the reason why China is able to build itself to become such a great country today in every aspect, if there is no money in behind it, there's no way it can grow to a status like today, right? Yeah, China is very, very safe, Mark. You're right. Yeah. So you can't do that if everything is done in a very communist way. So when we are talking about communism, it's about everyone sharing the same amount of money, sharing the same living standard. Everyone is equal, like equal in every sense. However, a country cannot be developed to its fullest if everything is like that. You definitely need to encourage people who are smarter to contribute more, to earn more, like to incentivize to contribute more and to earn more so that the overall society can grow at a faster speed. So that's why, like I said multiple times, I consider China to be a combination of capitalism, like our very own style of our society. Yeah. Mhm. China is a super country. Yes, I to China offer tax benefits to companies that benefit the public, like public interest. Yeah, I think so. Even though that's not an area that I am very familiar with, so I don't really know about the details, but I'm pretty sure there are tax benefits to companies that benefit the public. Yeah, you can buy literally anything in China. That's what I like about China. Yes, exactly. That is so true that we can buy literally everything in China. Yeah. So on the e-commerce platform, there is a saying that there will only be things you can't think of. There won't be any things you can't buy in China. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what are the things we can discuss today. Yeah. How does the merchants get paid for their goods? Like very easy. Just you just pay them online, right? They just receive it in their digital wallet, right? So you just pay like automatically. All the money will just go to their digital wallet. Yeah. 还会说国语吗？会说国语哦，主要中文是讲的最好的。Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Let's see. What are the things that we can discuss today? Somehow I feel like we are lacking of good topics today. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, follow me, please. Okay, follow me, please. If you haven't done so, and keep on tapping the screen to sending likes. Yeah. Guys, help me reach 20,000 likes. Help me reach 20,000 likes. Yeah. And yeah, I was thinking of trying to change a virtual background. Yeah, maybe we'll need to think about other ways of doing it. Yeah, because I do want to have a, like a title in here so that people come to the live streaming, they know what this live stream is about, they know what to discuss, and that would be better. Yeah, I think that would be better. Yeah. Mhm. 20,000 is a lot. It's not a lot. I constantly get that many likes. Usually, sometimes over 30,000 likes. It's not hard to get. Just keep on tapping the screen. You guys can help me reach that, my friend. Yeah. Are the lights on skyscrapers at the night irritating? It depends on where you live, right? If you live very close to those skyscrapers, then it would be irritating. However, however, there are not a lot. So those skyscrapers, they're usually just very close to each other, and also like people would consider it to be quite great view if you see all those skyscrapers with all those lights on, so people wouldn't find it irritating. But I mean, like if you live at your home, you could just close your curtains and your home will be dark, so that is fine. Yeah. 30,000. Wow, are you famous? I'm not famous at all, my friend. Not famous at all. Yeah. Yeah. And guys, follow me, please. Okay, follow me, please. What is the most popular? What is the most popular foreign food in China? I think Japanese food, very popular in here. You'll see plenty of Japanese restaurants in here. Yeah, and some people, some restaurants in here, Japanese restaurant are like very fancy Japanese restaurants, not those kind of normal Japanese restaurants, like very fancy just Japanese restaurants. Yeah, I would think like Japanese food is like most popular. Korean food is also very popular. Western foods, well, Italian food like pizza, like lots of pizza houses, also very popular in here. Yeah, I think. Yeah. So many tour guides in Chongqing speak English. No need to worry. Yeah, exactly. There are many English speaking guys, tour guides, because I think like literally, I think this year we definitely are gonna have a lot of like foreign friends coming over to China to travel because of all those KOLs, right? At the beginning of year, there are many KOLs coming to China, and now it all comes to those like bigger KOLs, like Speed, like I show Speed, right? And people also told me there that Mr. Beast is also coming to China. When those like biggest KOLs coming to China, definitely gonna boost the China's tourism industry. So this year, I would imagine there will be plenty of people coming to China from other all around the globe. Yeah, so that's great. That's great for us. That's great for us. Yeah. How would you compare Chinese and Japanese food? It's hard to compare because Japanese food, well, first of all, when it comes to diversity, okay, Chinese food is way more diversified than Japanese food, in my opinion, because China is a way bigger country than Japan, right? So you can't say Chinese food because there are so many different types of food inside the Chinese food system. You look at the east part of China, it has the Eastern Chinese food. You have look at south part of China, it's southern part of Chinese food. So if you look at the size of China, it's basically the size of multiple countries. So inside Europe, for example, well, people used to compare the size of China. Like the size of China is pretty much the size of Europe, right? So you have like different type of cuisines inside Europe. Like you wouldn't say that French food is the same as Italian food, right? So that's basically the same in China. So we have so many different cuisine systems in China. So in some areas we have the food that is completely different from the food from other areas in China. So it's hard to say how am I going to be able to compare the Chinese food with Japanese food because Chinese food Chinese food itself has so many like different systems inside it. So I could even compare like different Chinese food with each other. So not to say like compare Chinese food to another food, right? So I'm going to Shanghai Tuesday. I'm from Indiana. That is fantastic, Paul. Welcome to Shanghai. Shanghai welcome you. Yeah, my friend. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, Japan eat a lot of raw fish. So in China, we also have like raw fish dish. For example, in Shunde, in Kanto area, they have yushen, which is also raw fish. Just take like very fresh fish to make into raw fish, slices into raw fish. And usually compared to Japan, they just eat the raw fish and just use the soy sauce and wasabi and eat it, right? So the raw fish in Shunde in the eastern part of China, they eat it in a way that you would put different type of, for example, onions, different types of other ingredients into it and mix it, and then you eat it. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, do you have pizza in there? Yeah, definitely. We have lots of pizza. Like we have Pizza Hut as well, and also some other big brands like Hai John's or what John's Pizza or what. Like lots of places are having pizza, and also lots of places are having like Chinese style of hamburgers, Chinese styles of pizza. For example, on top of pizza, they would have roasted Peking duck, like roasted Peking duck pizza. Yeah, but I don't think these are very tasty. Yeah, yeah, yeah. High class restaurant would definitely cost a lot for sure. Yeah, yeah. So we have like all sorts of Japanese restaurants. Some Japanese restaurant that is like very fancy. Not only about the food is very fancy, also the servant. Well, sorry, not the servants. The waitress there, waitress inside the restaurants also dress up very fancily. You know, so for those restaurants, it can be like super expensive. However, there are also like street restaurants that is like serving Japanese cuisines, like just very cheap sushi. You could also eat it there as well. Yeah. Yeah. Your English is so fluent. Thank you, my friend. Yeah. Guys, follow me, please, okay? Follow me, please, if you haven't done so, okay? Anyone who haven't followed me, don't forget to follow me, okay? Guys, follow me, please, if you haven't done so. Yeah. hmm I'm Brazilian and I'm trying to learn English. I'm Brazilian, you're trying to learn English from the Chinese. That is great. Okay. Somehow that is interesting. Yeah. Uh-huh. I will go to China soon to buy goods. Do I find the language difficult? Depends on where you go. So, well, you will definitely find a language barrier when you come to China, my friend. However, that is fine. That is fine as long as you're able to use all those like instant translation kind of app, right? For example, Google Apps, those kind of Google Translate, those kind of apps, just to talk to the phone and show the translation to the people. That should be fine. Yeah, that should be fine. If you come to a city like Shanghai, just talk to the young people here. Many of the people in here they're able to talk to even though they don't know how to speak English very well, they could understand you and they might reply to you by writing, typing on the phone should be fine. So it's better, yeah, for Yoni, right? Definitely better to learn some, but it's totally fine if you can't speak it. I completely agree with it with you. Yeah, completely agree with that. Yeah. Which app should I have to find good public transport in China? You can just download Baidu app map. Like compared to Google Map, it's like Baidu Map, Baidu Map. Yeah, Baidu Map. That is how you just use that to navigate yourself from places. So Baidu Map is just like Google Map. Okay, Baidu is just like Google. Okay, so just use that, and you're able to navigate yourself inside China pretty well. Yeah, and guys, follow me, please. Follow me, please, if you haven't done so. Yeah. One more minute to go. It will be 9:30. So we're doing just so you know, so new foreign followers, just so you know, I usually have live streaming from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. every day. And there will be a replay from 9:30 9 p.m. every night, China time, okay? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I welcome all the friends to come over to China to visit our country. It's a beautiful country with a lot of things you could try. And it would be great if you come see everything with your own eyes. Your biggest KOLs are in here. Why shouldn't you also be here, right? They are interested in coming, then so should you, right? Yeah. Wow, your sirens sound is very different. Oh, really? Yeah. 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 Not paid. Not paid. Yeah. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for coming to my live streaming. And again, a very fun morning. Sorry that I was late today. I will try to be punctual tomorrow. I was spending time setting up the virtual background. Somehow it didn't work. Anyway, I'll think of other ways to show a fancier background. The virtual background solution doesn't work. Yeah. So thanks again for coming to the live streaming. And just so you know, I'm doing it every day. So I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Okay. Guys, just come to my live streaming tomorrow. And for those of you who haven't followed me, don't forget to follow me. Okay. Don't forget to follow me. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Okay. Bye bye, my friends. Bye. Bye bye.